name's Ted Loomis. I'm an artist from Cave Creek, Arizona.
So you're from Arizona. What brought you up here to ArtPrize? Why bring it up to Grand Rapids to display this?
I've been interested in ArtPrize. I've got another project I've got in mind for ArtPrize. It's the only place I could think about not being somebody that can walk into the Met in New York City where I could show something of this scope and scale. And I grew up 60 miles east of here, so I thought it'd be kind of a fun homecoming.
Would you mind just running through, I know you've probably been doing it all day, would you mind just running through the inspiration of these pieces?
The haiku goes, from time to time, the clouds give rest to the moon beholders. And Matsuo Basho, who was one of the first, probably the first real haiku artists. My work is very expressionistic, and so this is meant to be a beholder down here getting a little rest from the clouds coming through with the moon. So
that's really cool. And you said these are lunch trays, right?
They're cafeteria trays that I got when I worked at Boeing on the 777 improvement program, and I thought they were just way too good to throw away. So they come from recycle, they come from paper that was manufactured, recycled into other paper, recycled into cardboard, and then all that was recycled into these, and I've upcycled them into some art.
That's really cool. I love the upcycling. It's very it's on topic for the modern day right now. I feel like that's
absolutely.
A big topic right now.
As it needs to be. It has been. I'm 75. I've been a wacko recycler for 55 years.
That's
I've
awesome.
been focused on doing that.
That's awesome. I see your lab coat we got on Dr. Zoomis.
Dr. Zoomis. So,
are you a doctor?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
But this is I was called that. This was my retirement present when I left Boeing.
I love it.
By my customers and my colleagues that I worked with. They gave me the Dr. Zoomis.
I love it. I love it. It's really awesome. So what was you had a cool tidbit about this one over here.
This one I really enjoy. This is the end of spring. The poet is brooding about editors. And I saw the spring. I've got a poet here who's hunched over his or her work. It's his work in this case, is Buisson. And what he's really brooding about are these editors here that are gonna nail him, right? And so he's worrying more as much about them as he is what he's trying to create. So you've got a senior editor here, you've got the guy who's ready to retire here, and then you've got an intern editor here. And these are all copyright editing symbols that are on there. I think of interest, at least to me, is one of the things that happens with my art is that things emerge in it that I didn't plan. What emerged up there at the top right is it was a young woman that was the daughter of the family that I lived with when I was in the Air Force in Taiwan. Her name was Ling Ling. She's 4 or 5 years old. Her mother, Sumi, dies while I lived with them, and Ling Ling went to live with her grandparents. And I've now, by Facebook, reconnected with her.
Wow.
She's 60 years old.
That's
in
awesome.
Taiwan. And she just emerged. I had no intention of her being there. She popped into this painting, and so I wanted to honor her.
That's awesome. That's a really cool story. See, when you talk about some of these things, you might not, know the stories behind some of these things just by looking. So it's really, really cool. Did you plan on, being here with your exhibit?
Yes.
We've seen a lot of artists around, but obviously they're not all with their pieces. It was something you were set on to come in here so you could talk to people.
Well, again, it was the only place that I could see where it would hold something of this scope and scale.
Yeah.
But I've done enough. I did Arizona Fine Art Expo, and I think, at least for my work, my work is really narrative. Mm-hmm. And it requires some understanding. I'm a real believer, we talked about that a little bit earlier, in aesthetic cognitivism. And that's the whole notion that art can help you learn and understand more about the world, people, ourselves, and as opposed to it being, oh, that's a pretty picture, and 20 years later you've had no intellectual interchange with it for 20 years. And so it's really important for me to explain my work and for people that are interested in it to begin to understand it, because and a lot of that comes from the art that my wife and I collect. and that is, we like art that has a little bit of humor.
Yeah.
And we like mystery.
Yeah.
And we like discovery. And one of the things I really like is I can look at the paintings we've collected or the prints or whatever it is, and 20 years later I can look and say, you know, I never noticed that little detail before.
Yeah.
So it's this ongoing conversation that you can have with art.
Yeah, that's so awesome. That's so awesome. We love hearing the stories behind everything. We're from an art retailer, an e-commerce store, bigwalldecor.com. We're out of Norton Shores, up a little bit north of here.
Okay.
We partner with real artists for all our prints. That's kind of one of our things we're really proud of. You know, we don't want, we're not these companies just pulling stock photos from the internet.
Yeah, right.
Or AI art and stuff like that. Do you have any thoughts about that? Like people who generate images or anything?
I don't know. It's one of those things. I think I had a bunch of conversations about this with some of my brain trust down in Arizona before we left, and we were talking about AI, and I think that AI art should be about interpreting. I think so that I have a bias about that, but it should be about interpreting. And if you an analogy might be if you listen to a song. With a little help from my friends. There are people that try to copy that exactly, and that's a pretty boring exercise. But if you listen to Joe Cocker do it, if you listen to Tedeschi Trucks Band do that, they're weighing in with their own interpretation, and that's art.
Yeah.
They aren't just copying it. So I think AI and technology, Catherine Ripley, who's the president of Simplicity Communications. We had that conversation the other day on a podcast about what about technology and that. And I said, for me, what I use it for is reference. If I want to see what a cheekbone looks like on 5 different people, I can go look at that really quick.
Totally. But
I'm not the least bit interested in doing AI art,
right,
because that takes it out of my hands. It doesn't do anything for me. And she asked me as well, what do I think the future technology is going to be with art? And I just said, I don't have a clue.
Right.
I'm 75 years old. I know. I don't know what it's going to be a week from now.
Right. Things change all the time.
Yeah, they do. Change is the only constant.
You said you have another big project plan. Is there any is it going to be an installation like this? Is there a teaser you can give us? Any kind of information you can give us?
Yeah, I have a guy that I grew up with who's a great friend of mine, who's a wood carver in Alaska, and he's a bird fanatic. And so he's telling me that about the wandering albatross is the largest flighted bird. It has a wingspan of 11 feet.
Wow.
And so he and I are cranking on producing one of those to scale.
Oh, wow.
And doing a plan view, top and bottom, looking from the bottom, looking up at the clouds, top, looking down at the ocean. I'd appreciate it if nobody steals that idea, but probably somebody will. But that's what really got me going about ArtPrize.
That's awesome.
Is thinking, because I couldn't think again of any place I could put that,
Yeah.
other than here, where I could reasonably get it into. So that's kind of
Awesome.
It'll be a woodblock print.
I'm super excited to see it.
Japanese woodblock print. I don't know if it'll be a reduction print yet, or it'll be a straight woodblock. I haven't figured that out yet.
That's
but
awesome.
That's kind of the plan.
That's awesome. I'm super excited to see that. Well, thank you for taking some time with us.